Flight boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind Eminent Terry's Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, we're going to talk about how to actually look at numbers. Because we see it's such a large amount of world, and it seems like only the illuminated ones and people with esoteric knowledge actually know how to utilize numbers. And unfortunately, these people are utilizing numbers for their percentage, aka. So, you know, we need to put things in perspective, and I need you to understand how to actually look at numbers. Now, actually, numbers all derived from dimensions, because there's only 9 dimensions, which ultimately, when things start to manifest and come into reality, there's ultimately was 9 spaces. There's ultimately only 1 space, which correlates to a space of 3, which made itself into density, which created 6 places, which really just ultimately 2 places. And then once that formulated again, it became 9 spaces, which ultimately is 3 spaces. So if you raise yourself up in consciousness spiritually high enough, you will be able to understand and decipher between what I just said. You know what I'm saying? So when we want to talk about, this is why the 3, 6, and the 9 is not numbers. Now, numbers is so not, now look at it. Numbers is not dense. So and numbers actually correlates the separation between things, and this is how we correlate 4th dimensional type tools like time and stuff like that. Because when you look at time, it's not dense. So when you looking at the 3D realm of reality and stuff, right? This is a very dense realm of reality. So it's going to take a whole lot of numbers to make things dense, or to matter, or to bring things into reality, or to manifest from numbers. So this is why the lower the reality, the more number has to be used, and the lower the dimension, the lower realm of reality, the more vessels is going to be in it. You know what I'm saying? So so you got to think about it. You in the 3rd dimension, think about all the people you see. It's a whole lot of number. Things look like it's affinity, but the higher the dimension, the lesser the number. So you see, the higher the dimension, these beings are able to use less numbers, or maybe one, and then the lower the dimension you have to use. So you can even look at it like this. Look at it like this. Look at it like money. Look at money like numbers. Now, money, when you want to manifest something, it takes a large amount of money to actually make your realm of reality real, or to make something physical. It don't even have to do with money. Just numbers in general. Look at numbers. A little bit of numbers, and numbers is not dense in general. So the more the number, you still might not see no physical reality from it, but you'll be able to see things manifest into realms of reality. That's how high dense numbers is. You see what I'm saying? These are realm of realities that's real high in being. So when you look at it, all right, you can look at it like this. Look at, even when you look at someone's YouTube page or something like that, or Instagram, and you're looking at the numbers, right? A person who don't got a lot of not a lot of views, not a lot of numbers, right, is not carrying a lot of impact or influence, right? The more numbers they got, the more they're able to utilize that and form something into their realm of reality. That's just like a person who end up getting 1 million views or 10 million views or something like that. They're able to take that and actually utilize something and manifest, make something real out of it. It can make something at least dense out of that. You see what I'm saying? So let's let you know actually the distance between you also. So this is just getting you the base between you and the high also, and between the distance between you and everything else also. So this is kind of getting you to understand it and getting you in the flow of numbers and how we constructed numbers in the first place. So now when you want to look at numbers in general, now when we saying it's only 9 numbers, right? You got dimensions. So as far as a dimension, you got everything is in 3. So you got your frequency, vibration, and energy, aka your spirit, your soul, and your body. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at it like that, you're gonna be in a different dimension in each vessel. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, your soul is kind of smeared, is your spirit. It's your spirit in a realm of reality. Your spirit is just the thought, your idea, your space. You know what I'm saying? Your space within a space, your room. So, I mean, before you got in a room, you know what I'm saying? A room, aka womb, aka a vibration, your time, your experience. What came second? Your soul, your experience, your movement, your emotion. So as a spirit, your spirit always going through realms of reality. So it's always vibrating. So you know what I'm saying? This is why they say you always live and all things. But look, Now, when we get into talking about the number system, right? So right now, as a vessel, you are in a 3D vessel. But depending on, this is where we get into numerology. Depending on your numerology number, right? That's telling you where your spirit, what dimension your spirit is at. So if it's only 9 dimensions, if it's only 9 numbers, 9 dimensions, this tell you if you're a 1 through 9 person, or if you're a number 11 person, a 22 person, a 33. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into the master numbers and why they call them master numbers and this, that, and the third. Now, for the most part, your numerology is because these are things that subconsciously happen. Like, you formulated to have your name. You formulated to have your astrological chart. You came in just the right time because these are scriptures that you mapped out for yourself and landscaped it in order for you to remember who you are. And based upon the realms of reality that you got in, ran by other intellectual beings and their lights, it may steer you away from not understanding who you are based upon what they want you to think who you are. That's another video. But for the most part, you made this chart to come in who you are, and you lost it through numerous ways if you watch my videos. Now, your numerology, that comes down with your name and your date of birth and things of that nature. So these are things that you see, the spirit is not dense. Just like numbers is not dense. So it has to inform you and come to you in these ways, in ways of signs. Watch my previous video. In ways of signs and energies and vibrations. So this is a sign, energy, or vibration. You just got your name. You could go through other reasons like, okay, this person gave me this name, this person, and I was like that, but all that correlates to everything happened for a reason. So it's a sigil. So when you understand your numerology, and like, I'm a number 9 person, so if the 9 was the last, then on my spirit, the spirit in this vessel is experiencing a ninth dimension, a ninth dimensional consciousness. But as far as this 3D vessel can correlate it through this expression, through this realm of reality. You see what I'm saying? So if you are a number 1 person, you are in the frequency of your spirit is in a 3D body, because you're on an evolutionary scale as a physical, in the energy form of it. You know, everything is frequency, vibration, and energy. Energy is the body was solid, what became matter, and what mattered. In this realm, in that form, you have elevated or descended in the physical, in a 3D vessel. Now in the spiritual realm, your numerology, because everything for a reason, and that's how that came to you. You know what I'm saying? It's not dense. So when you look at that, that's where your spirit at. So if you're a number 1 person, then in a 3D vessel, you are experiencing 1 dimension, and that's the spirit, and that's going within in the self. So a lot of times you may play out attributes of being selfish and being self-centered, but a lot of times on the positive side, you understand the self, you understand the spirit. You know what I'm saying? You understand the frequency. If you was a person who came in as a number 2 person, then you're a person who's highly relatable. You're here to share relationships. And you're here to understand relationships and things like that. You know what I'm saying? And you also dealing with the soul, because that's dealing with emotional, water, connecting with others. You see what I'm saying? And being relatable. Water is relatable. So and the soul is relatable, and it's the experience. So a lot of number 2 signs, you bring the experiences here, but you also experience a lot of bad relationships and things of that nature. If you are a number 3 person, that's experiencing your surroundings. You see what I'm saying? And this is why this correlates with the houses also. So number 3 is your surroundings and how you understand what surround you and yourself, and how you communicate with yourself and what surrounds you. You know what I'm saying? To the point that you can become familiar with it. That's if you're a number 3 person. So a number 3 person be very curious. So they may go into a lot of relationships just being curious. A lot of stumblings and falls in their life by just being curious until they learn the information that they gain from being curious. You see what I'm saying? Then you have if you're a number 4 person, then you came into this realm of reality to judge. So you're judging to some certain degree. You're always a judging type person. You may judge yourself too. You may be hard on yourself a lot of times. But you could become a judge. You could become a person of law. You could become a person who could distinguish between the information you receive in contracts and things of that nature, and how to conversate and communicate with people. You see what I'm saying? If you're a number 5 person, then you are a person who you like to utilize your authority. So a number 5 people come into this realm like to be aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Like to force their will, even if they don't have the proper information from 4 or 5. You see what I'm saying? So it's like it's your spiritual conscious, and depending on what number you on, you could depending on how your frequency is vibrating, you either descend or ascend spiritually. You know what I'm saying? If you get caught and get enticed with picking sides on the polar opposites of positive and negative within that dimension, then as a spiritual growth, you won't grow. You have this is why I tell everybody, it don't matter what spirituality you into, make sure you're learning. Like, you don't have to go to church. Life is church. Going outside is church. Breathing, everything is church. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to do a lot of these things. So when you conflate yourself to these things and confine your spirit and get into a spiritual jail, you're spiritually stuck. So on a spiritual path, not only that you may descend in a vessel, you may descend spiritually too. You don't want to go backwards spiritually too. And that's not to say that a person spiritually here is a number 3, and then you got people who spiritually here as a number 9, because I'm a number 9 person, that I'm higher or lower than you. Nah, we all here to help each other. It's all relative. You may have been a number 9 person before. You may have experience. You may have descent. Like me, I have descent, ascent. I'm on a whole different. Everybody on their own path, on their own vibrational scale. But at the same time, it's just your experience, and this is what you're experiencing. You see what I'm saying? Like, as a number 9 person, you have the conscious level to either ascend beyond or descend this realm of reality again and come back into these laws. But once you go beyond, if you're a number 9 person consciously, you should have enough consciousness awareness if you ain't let the world or anything around you dictate your wisdom and knowledge. And that's what 99% of the world. But I'm here to tell you, as a number 9 person too, this is what you're supposed to understand. Now, you have the conscious level of being able to go past 9 or come back down to 1 or 8 or 7 in this realm of reality. But look, like I said, there's always a heaven to a hell. There's always a hell to a heaven. There's always a as above, so below. There's always an inner. There's always a without. There's always a within. You see what I'm saying? So if you do choose to leave this system and go and rise above after 9, your spiritual path going to go into another 1. It's going to go through another hole, which is a 0, and then your spirit going to go out through another verse, and it's going to go back to a 1, and you're going to be birthed. You're going to be a baby and be birthed into another realm, wherever high or low in that conscious. But it's going to be totally different from this realm of reality, and that goes into, you may be in a different verse, different solar system, different. But that's how it works as a spiritual growth. As a number 9 person, you should spiritually outgrow this, and everybody on their spiritual path. People could skip spiritual paths. Like if you are a number 6 person, right? You are here. You may be very enticed by deep things, by sex. You may be very enticed by dark. You may be very enticed by manipulation. But at the same time, you here to be the judge. You here to you got some type of energy and authority around you that you can control others and give other people information and give them the authority to do things if you don't even know how to quite do it. So this gives number 6 signs as leaders and things of that nature, as stars. So number 6 people. See what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter that they're 6. They can skip 7. They could descend lower than 5. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how they was vibrating or their frequencies was vibrating spiritually in that realm. You see what I'm saying? Now that you're getting a more deeper in sense of the numbers, now let's look at the numbers itself. Numbers is just space. So, see, I got a number system. I'm going to come up with my numbers and language for a whole separate video. I don't want to get into that yet because that's going to go into something different. But I'm going to tell you like this. Numbers is just space. So we know ultimately it was just one space. And that one space really it correlated out of a space that turned into three mini spaces. Well, another space, and both of those spaces became third person, which was a mini space, which really just ultimately is one space. Then it did that sequence again, right? What became 6 spaces, but ultimately was just 2 spaces. Then it became that sequence again, was ultimately was 3. So look, when you're looking at numbers, right, it's just spaces, right? So you got one space, then you got another one space, then you got another one space. You see what I'm saying? So when we look at add, anytime something's adding, it's adding weight, it's adding density to it. So this is how the Illuminati and Galactic Federation of Light and the law and government, as above so below, this is how they was able to utilize signs and numbers and bring it into density. Now I explained in the previous video how they bring signs. Things design arise out of signs. You saying fly out of signs. You know what I'm saying? Signs create hives. You know what I'm saying? Hives. You got beehives, all these kind of hives. When you look at it, fly hives. When you look at a beehive, look at the geometrics of it. Look at what it makes them do. It makes them go out, get bread and get things of the nature, come back, harvest. Look at the shapes in a hive, right? That's what signs is. So when you look at signs is a hive for vibrational energies. So when these first beings of the U's that became the C's, when they came here and outlined and went, like, the sun took longer, Mars made them feel tired and aggressive and passionate, Venus made them feel they was into it, they was loving it, Mercury was quick. So it made, when they was outlining it, the roundness and doing the shapes of it, when they made a full round and they figured out the days and how long it took for it to do it, they was thinking that they was learning something and first drawing. This is why Mercury was young and it was the first of the communication. You see what I'm saying? So when these first beings was here landscaping, this is why when you look at the globe itself and look at the water is the landscape of the earth. So the water beings is so that's what they drew out. That's another video. I'm gonna do a part 2 to that. But look, it's the thoughts and the feelings that these beings had once they accomplished the outline and outdrawings and shapes of the signs that they did when they was outlining the planets on this planet, right? That's the energy vibration of it. So it got days, it got certain lights now that's drawn in from it. The energy that they put in is all drawn in from the light. So the energy vibration is sucked in from the signs. So science is doing that every day. Every time you see a sign, you correlate. Every time you see a red light, a stop sign, a green light, or like, it's this subconsciously in your vessel to pick up certain frequencies and vibrations that you can't really see. But you see it physically from the sign, but you can't see the vibration frequency of it because a lot of y'all third eyes is calcified. But you're dealing with a person whose chakras is lit right now. My third eye has automatically always been open. So I'm telling you how to look at it. That's how you see it. You're not going to see it with these two eyes. You have to see it with a third eye. And once you get into that realm, into the in realm so long, it look the same anyway. You start to blend in both of the realms at the same time. Sometimes I don't know if I'm dreaming or not, a subconscious realm or the regular realm. That's how it is. You see what I'm saying? Ain't no waking up, ain't no sleeping. But at the same time, this is what the signs do. So now when you talk about numbers, right? Now, we talk about compound numbers now. Let's talk about compound numbers. Now, all right, we know it's only 9 numbers. We just distinguished all that right now. 9 dimensions, correlated it with the 9 numbers, is 9 spaces overall, which ultimately is 3 and ultimately is just 1. This is why 0, 1, 3, 6, 9, they all correlate the same. And then we start to get the in-between. And the only reason you got the in-between because some languages took out the 3, 6, 9 and chopped them all up and brought them all together, which ultimately was a circle and a star all mixed in with each other and cut off, and that's how you made certain letters and numbers and everything. But look, let's fuck all that right now. But look, check this out. They all got this from the signs, from these first planetary beings that came here from off my planet. But look, we're gonna look. Let's check this out. Now, when we talk about numbers, let's talk about compound. Now, once we establish numbers, now you know you got a bunch of intellectual beings in certain dimensions, right, that's utilizing numbers for their own personal gain, right? So they have the real esoteric knowledge of numbers. So now they created compound numbers. So now let's get into master numbers. If you're number 11, now really it's just you're doing one of these numbers in more density, right? So now you're going to be thinking like, oh man, Dolo, I'm a lesser being or whatever. No, this is why they call them master signs. Because you have a lot of esoteric and Illuminati, we the real Illuminati, but let's just talk about the fake ones out here that's who try to take your knowledge and take it from you in the Galactic Federation of Light, right? They took these compound numbers, right? They call them master numbers because in density, right, they're trying to be lords, right? Lords of the underworld. So if you're under something, this is an underworld. You're not high, you're under something. So you're in an underworld. So you're always going to have, there's always a heaven to a hell, there's always a, you know what I'm saying? I don't know why y'all don't get what's right in front of y'all. So look, they're trying to become lords. So they're trying to become lords in density. Lords of the material, lords of the physical, lords of the, so that is the most high here. So when they take numbers and they call it master numbers, say it's 11 a master number, right? You got a selfish person, right? But then you got a person who understands the selfish nature in density, because 2 is 2 now. It becomes 2. So now they know how to relate their selfishness real well. So a number 11 people know how to make others around them be themselves by them just being themselves. You see what I'm saying? But the Illuminati, the fake ones, they'd take this and this is why they called it master numbers, because they feel like the people who got the master numbers, since numbers is so high in density, people who land on a master number is already compound, so they already have mastery over the high. They got access to the high realm and able to utilize it in the density realm way better. So that's just the natural forces of it, but they're trying to use it for what they want to do that for. But I'm telling you that you just naturally have that energy, that power. You see what I'm saying? Just like a number 22. This is a person who's this is a number 2 person. They're relatable, right? Relatable. But then they got another 2 at it. So they're relatable, highly relatable in density. So they know how to make others around them, or they're looked at as the central star of the example of how to be relatable to people, or how to relate things to others. But look, 2 plus 2 is 4. So now we get to, because everything have to multiply to be brought into density, and this is how they brain fuck you and shit like that, and make you more in the density, make you feel like you got obligations and duties to do that's not yours. This is how they doing it now. Look, and then you get into jobs that make you utilize these numbers even more, and then these esoterics, they utilize themselves even more to make them think that they doing more than what they doing. Look, check this out though, but y'all going for it and giving them energy. But look, the number 22, then it plus 4, right? Now 4 is the judge, becoming a judge of the surroundings. That's the dimension, the spiritual dimension of becoming a judge of the surroundings. You see what I'm saying? So now a person this is what they're saying a number 22, a master 22 person is. These people have mastery over relating things to others, right? And these people are the ones who should be made the judge of the things that's in front of us that everybody is relating to. So they become the judge of what people are relating to on TV, news, or whatever. So a lot of these master 22 people, they know this in esoteric knowledge, so they use this, and a lot of them control the news stations. But if you're a number 22 person, you already got this access power around you, in you. You see what I'm saying? So when we want to talk about look into this realm of reality and look about how numbers I equate it to having a lot of numbers on views or having a lot of money. Right? A little bit of money ain't gonna get you nowhere. A lot of money will get you a lot of places. But look how much money it takes to get you a lot of places, right? $1 million, $1 billion. You see what I'm saying? So that's telling you how much compounds, pounds, heaviness, weight. You see where everything come from? That's telling you how much weight you need to add in order to bring your reality and manifest it in reality. You see what I'm saying? And once you really, if you got a real spiritual being like me on earth, $1 million, $1 billion ain't shit for me to do what I want to do. And then the intellectual beings that control those numbers and shit ain't gonna do nothing but put me in realms of realities and put responsibilities on me that might be too heavy for me to even clear my back or clear my shoulders, clear the weight and the world off my shoulders for me to even do what I want to do. So they're going to drain you anyway. You see what I'm saying? It gets deep. So you got to understand what's controlling what and what's being controlled. And when we talk about numbers, it's the high